It is Thursday, I think. Gosh, I don't even know what day it is. I'm kind of out of it. I started getting sick yesterday, and I'm still not feeling 100%. Like a bit of nausea and stuff. So apologies if I'm kind of out of it or if I have to depart very quickly. It's just I'm probably not having a good day. Um, a couple of announcements, but before we do that, let me remember to do the tweet thing because I'm definitely going to forget that if I get to talking. Excuse me. Okay, so a few things I want to mention. First, as most of you probably know, and though some maybe don't, because I realize not everybody plays every day, we did have a major um, maintenance push yesterday, pretty extended. There was a lot of things going on, which I guess they felt deserved a pretty wide window of, just in case something went wrong, they were able to, kind of fix it before they, actually opened the doors. But the two probably major things are the server mergers. The PvP realms are now merged with the PvE ones, so that means Warhound is now a part of Jabbit entity, and Lumini is now a part of Jabbit. So it's just one big happy family, aside from the region split. But most people are hoping that that will be an improvement. I can see that if nothing else, we will have more houses to look at because regardless of your interests, other interests in WildStar, I think a little bit of, everybody dabbles a little bit of housing, even if they're mainly Raider or PvP or whatever. So I'm sure this will open up some more opportunity for seeing some nice houses that we normally wouldn't get to see, but now they will be available. So I will be checking the public plots pretty heavily this weekend, see if I can spot some new lovely gems for us. In addition to the murders, which seems to have gone off with mostly without a hitch, I haven't really heard any big complaints or issues. I think there's a few things, but I don't know if that was some of the stuff that was actually affected the day before the merger. So it might be just little tricklings from that, or if there was actually any issues with the merger itself. I haven't experienced anything. I haven't heard anybody in the vicinity of me having troubles, but that isn't to say it went out, smoothly. But the other thing was that the Z-Pre hoverboard invitational, whatever it's called, the races are back in the game. That means you can go to, like, I think it's the Whiteville track. There's one in Celestion, and I think there's one in the Savannah, which I guess would be Daradoon or something. That means while the hoverboard racing really isn't directly related to housing, it does give you an opportunity to get a hold of some of those particle effects like the blazing track and the lightning strike. So if you didn't get a chance to get those last time, or not as many as you would have hoped, now's your chance to do that. I don't know for sure how long the hoverboard event will be lasting this time. The only thing I heard was that it would be lasting longer than it did last time, but if that means a day longer, a week longer, I have no idea. So just, seize the opportunity to grab some extras of those if that was something you either missed out on entirely last time, or you'd like to pick up some extras. Because I know there's a lot of people that like using those effects in fun and interesting ways. So now's your opportunity to grab a few extras. And I do believe, let me see. Yeah, they're not soulbound anymore. They changed that a little while ago. Hey, Poi, good morning. Glad you could join us. They changed it a little while ago, but in the start it was soulbound, and if you got it, well, you might as well learn it with the character that you want it with. But now it is not soulbound. That means even if you aren't interested in housing and have no use for those items, you can sell them on the auction house. So, excuse me. So yeah, don't miss out on those opportunities. The races are really easy. It doesn't really. I actually died during the first race this morning because, like I said, I'm not feeling well, so I was just all over the course, and I actually took a wrong turn, fell off, and died. I had to port back to the last checkpoint, and I'm sure it was like over 3 minutes or something that it took me to get through the track, but I still was able to claim my rewards at the end. So as long as you complete the track, they're not judging on time as far as completion goes for the rewards, the item rewards, which include titles, costume pieces, but also those nifty particle effect decor. So if you're not good at the racing stuff, don't worry. Just, reach the checkpoints, finish the course, however long it might take you, and you still get the opportunity to get those. Hey, Soccer, good morning. Glad you could join us. But, for those that want to be competitive, they do have, it tells you like how many seconds it took you to get through the course. If you want to compare, take a screenshot and say, can you beat my score, mister, and have a little friendly competition amongst your guildmates or something. But I just wanted to point out that even us slow bees or confused ones that get lost on the course, even though there's plenty of arrows pointing the direction and all those little circles and stuff, that you can still get the rewards. That part of it is not based on the speed in which you do it, thankfully. Yeah. And it is a daily thing. You pick it up right there in the same place that you do your contracts. There's a platform right in the middle, and the little dock guy is there, and you can pick up your 3 track quests. And then if you look in the quest log itself, it'll have a little teleport, so you don't even have to struggle with getting to the location where the tracks start. You just hit the little T button and it ports you to the first track, and then so on and so forth, and just makes it very handy, easy for people to get involved in it, even if they're not familiar with how to get around the map and everything. Let's see. The next thing I wanted to remind is in the past I kept a running updated log of public homes that people might find fun to visit. I did that for both Exiles and Dominion for Jabbit. And well, I've enjoyed doing that over these last months, several months. There is a new spreadsheet database that I feel is much more, I wouldn't say intuitive, but I think it covers a lot more. It provides a screenshot. You have room to give a description. And while I could have added that in my own list, it was very hard to maintain it as it was, just simply because of the scale of how many houses I was keeping track of. So, it would take me a good couple of hours to go through all of them just to confirm, is it the same theme? Has the name changed? That kind of thing. So, this is a way for house owners to, I guess, keep things updated. I think if you want to change anything on your entry, you just contact Cheetos, which is the person that's running it. I have a link to that thread that you can check out the listing and everything. I am happy to say that it appears that most, if not all, of the entries that I submitted over this last weekend are actually now on the database. That includes both Exiles and Dominion. I noticed they updated the listing in the thread there in the forum yesterday, but it only seemed to show mostly exiles. But I just checked the listing on the spreadsheet itself, and I saw a good many Dominion listed as well. I think it's altogether for Jabot, it's almost 360 homes, I think. So it was quite a big undertaking. And of course, those that I submitted, which was probably the majority of them, they're only one screenshot. I just use my own best judgment as to how I describe the plot. You know, if I felt it was more of a jumping puzzle, that's what I described it as. If I felt it was more just, you know, kind of a personal residence that way. You know, some of the ones that are actually used as guild houses, unless it actually said it in the title itself, it might not be super clear to me that it's a guild house. It might just look like a big mansion to me. But I did my best. I just wanted to really push out that content to help, you know, promote this new spreadsheet for those looking for homes to visit and want an easy way of kind of referring to it. It also does allow people to rate the homes. I think there's a bit of debate on if that's a good thing or not. From my perspective, I'm not a big fan of rating because there are homes owned by well-known people that will get higher votes than someone that people may not know. It's not to say that their home is any less beautiful or inspiring. It's just maybe they don't have that support group. You know, if you have a person in a guild that has 100 guildmates that are willing to vote for them, and then someone that's just on their own and has the same quality of home, they may not get the same amount of attention and support. So for me, I would take the ratings with a grain of salt. Just don't let them affect your involvement in housing. Don't let it discourage you, because it's not a competition of popularity or anything. That's not the point of it. I think the idea behind the rating system, at least from the vantage point of the person that set up the spreadsheet, was that their assumption is that if it has a high rating, that means it's worth the visit. In my opinion, every home listed is worth the visit. Even if the plot has just one custom thing, like a custom pool house, a pool table or something, or pool house, I guess, as opposed to a plot that's got a full, you know, major build, like it's a castle and forest and everything. Yes, the one, it can be breathtaking in comparison to the other, but the pool table or the pool house or the one little object still has merit to inspire folks to build something like that. Maybe someone is looking specifically for a pool house, I keep saying house, pool table for their game room or something. And it happens to be that one place, even though that's all they have on the plot, that's the one they find the most like what they're hoping to build or trying to build. So for me, all of the homes are worth visiting. Yes, there are going to be those that have a bigger wow factor than others, but I don't like saying that, well, that means that those others don't deserve as much attention. I think all of them have their pluses. So if you have the time, you know, a rainy day, nothing else better to do, and you're looking for some fun ideas or just want to admire other folks' homes, even if you don't plan on building one yourself, yeah, take the time to visit them all. Hey, Braveston, glad you could join us. So the next thing, and probably the final thing we'll be talking about, is the new spring decor on the InCoin shop. There is a new pack. There's actually a few other items. There's a pet and a toy and what have you, but there is a spring pack, and for the amount of items you get in it, and you can see most of them laying out here, I just kind of plopped them all out. It's a pretty good value. You get, I think it's 30 items for either 230 in coin or 115 omnibits. The item is, you claim it once, depending on what character you want it on, that's the character you want to claim it with. And once the character opens the pack and all of the items pop out of it, they are soul bound to that character. So, make sure whatever character you want to have these spring decor on, you make sure that's the one you claim it with and you open it with, because otherwise, you're poop out of luck. You can't move them. Um, you can see there's a pretty good variety. There's all of the little grass clumps with the flowers that we saw on the Decor Shopper preview a few weeks ago. There's several different little potted plants. There's a variety of ivies. There's, of course, the ivy-covered arches and the one that is a functional gate. There's the pile of gold, the little leprechaun statue, the rainbow, and of course the tea set and the fence pieces. Now, I will say that if you're planning on going nuts with either the flowers, you want like a field of flowers or something, what you see here, these are pretty much all you get. You get like one each of these particular things. Now the fences, you do get a couple of extras. There's 2 of these all together. There's 3 of these medium ones, and then 2 of the small ones. I just didn't place them all out. I'm keeping it where there's just a bit, but for most of it, it's just single item. Whoops. So if you want multiples, you'll have to buy multiple packs on that particular character. But for our use on this particular plot, since this is my spring plot, I don't think I will be buying multiples. I'll just make do with the one and get as much use of it out of it as I can. You do get 2 rainbows. Oh, let me select that. You do get 2 rainbows, and it works just like other particle effects. You get when you're in edit mode, you see the box so that you can select it, since the rainbow itself is kind of like a non-item, just in a particle effect. You can see that it's got some sparkly stuff, animation, and little blinky bits. How folks will use that, I don't know. You can see it's not perfectly flat per se. If you look at it at certain angles, it looks pretty thin, but they've bowed the shape of the rainbow a little bit, so it's not entirely flat. So you could sink it into the wall and just have just this front little color sparkly bit showing. Yeah, exactly, soccer. That's why, since I know this is my spring plot, this will be the only character I claim these on. It's unfortunate because I really love the little carrot uh, bit on the pot, and I would love to be able to get lots of these and be able to use that somehow in some of my other homes. But and of course the pile of gold is really nice looking, and all of these flowers and ivies and stuff, that would be something that someone would probably really want for a lot of their orney homes and things like that, and just regular gardens and stuff. And the fact that you only get one each of them is kind of disappointing. I would have preferred if maybe you bought it, and even if it was slightly more expensive, but it unlocked it in the vendor. I think I would have liked that. But, this is how they're decided to do this. Maybe if there's an actual event that comes a little later, maybe we'll get access to more of these. I don't know. But for now, this is what we have. So I'm just going to kind of go over them one by one so that you can see them. I'm going to rotate size, talk about what might be you could use them for. And then we're going to see about using some of them on the plot. So we're going to start with the ivy. This is the flowering vine hanging version. A little lopsided because of the way I was putting it on the rock, but you can see it's got a bit of a curve to it. It does have some flowers on it. Looks a little on the yellow side, yellow green, something like that. Good for uh, draping around the house if you want to add some kind of greenery to the house. Probably like the orange one, would be better, but doesn't mean that it can't be used for other things. Um, it would work really good for if you're building something like this and don't want it all clunky. You could just use some of these pieces to kind of drape around that way. I don't think the flowers positions are all ideal if you just want the flower itself to show, because there's so many things sticking out. You'd have to really work at it. I'm gonna see. I was looking to see if maybe if you enlarged it, if you could like walk on the leaves or something. Trying to see if there's like some actual collision on those things. Okay, the only collision is on the vines themselves, it appears. So it's not like you can make yourself a little, kind of like the canopy piece. You can't step on the leaves. You walk right through them. So that's something to keep in mind. No, boy, I have no idea. It just says limited time. Let me see if it actually says. Yeah, it just says limited time, whatever that may be. I have no idea. I would think it's safe when it comes to stuff like this. I mean, think about how long they had the Valentine pack out. I don't think it was all that long. And so I don't know. I think it's safe to assume that unless they specifically say otherwise, that is going to be a short amount of time. Don't wait because you're liable to miss out. Um, since we're talking about the vine, let's just check out the other ones. This one is the flowering vine, just the regular one. You can see it's pretty much the same, but it's a little bit more bunched up, and it doesn't have a real big curve on the one way. It's got a little bit of a curve this way, but not too bad. It would be good for lining some fences or something. You could even turn it this way and have it do some like like a fence post, having some little bit of curve. Maybe this way would look better with the little bits. It'd be good for like a trellis that you make and have some extra roses or flowers or something. It's got the same yellow stuff that the other one has, but you always add extras to it. This one is the flowering vine sparse, and I think by what they mean by sparse is, I have no idea. To me, it looks just like the others. It's got a good amount of vines, maybe not as leafy, I guess. It seems to have still quite a few flowers, but I don't know. It has that same curve that this one does, but maybe one less vine, something like that. And then this one is, getting the wrong thing, the flowering vine uneven. This one's got a little bit of a droopy bit. To me, it looks just like this one, but a little clumpier on the end. So I don't know. But it's, a good variety and kind of, stuff. You'd figure out some things. Like I said, the only disappointment is if you want multiples of these, you'll have to buy multiple packs. I love the flowering arbor and the one with the gate, the functional gate. We already have the actual white picket fence gate and arch in game, but before they gave us this, you had to kind of figure out ways to kind of make it look like it had vines and stuff. And usually the ones I went for were the habanero bushes. Those seem to work the best. And it always kind of, the habanero ones always reminded me of red roses. And that's what I would use. But this kind of speeds it up, looks much better because you actually have the vine going in and around the bits. And so now all you have to do is add a few habanero blooms and you've got a nice little rose decoration. Same way with this one. It's just that it's functional. You can actually open and close it. Again, I really hate that functional stuff light up green like this. It makes it awful for screenshots and things, but that's something else. So it looks pretty much like the one that we have in game, other than it's got the ivy added to it. Okay, the pot of gold, or otherwise known as the Leprechaun pot of shinies, is an adorable little thing. I love the design on it. I especially love the pile of coins. You know, if you were to sink that down and just show the coins, that would be a nice little thing. It's got the carrot icon on there, which I, you know, obviously would adore. You wouldn't be able to use the pot for anything other than the gold because the gold is so high up on it, but it does have the sparkle effect, if you can see it flashing a little bit there. So that's nice. If you turn it upside down, it looks a little weird, but you know, maybe someone will use it in some strange way. It could be the end of a rocket or something. You know, have it shooting out some flames out the back, and then add in the you know, have a carrot rocket or something like that. I don't think it will be very easy just to have the little carrot showing because of the way it's positioned on the cauldron or whatever, but you might find a way to do that. For my part, I think I just would rather use it like this. Then we have the, what is it called? The leprechaun statue. He's quite the character. He's got like a little, what do you call that? A monocle on, and he's got coins on his hat, and he's got this little staff thing and very long, freaky little mustache. Great for those that have fountains that they need some kind of a topper on and don't want to use the typical things that everybody else uses. This would be a good one. Because he almost looks like a mayor, you know, mayor of the town. Look at the claws on his feet and hands. Man, they're like needle sharp. Maybe someone would find a use for just the ears, to make wings for something else, maybe. I don't know. Don't think you would want to waste him, using him in other ways other than the statue, because he's just too adorable. In my opinion, anyway. Okay, flower pots. This one is the flower pot yellow, and it's very mindful of like the Celestion foliage with like the vent vines and stuff. It's got that nice curly Q kind of thing going on. It almost looks like a deconstructed daisy, like it's been unwrapped and all of the petals are separated and you have to kind of fold it back all together to get to that nice little flower. But you can see it's got some big old thorns on it. A little bit of grass growing in it. I assume it's not supposed to be like weeds or something. The pot itself is a pretty solid color if that's what you're going to use it for. Again, because these are so uncommon, I don't think most people will use them in that way, but you never know. So we're going to take a look at it. But you could think it down if you don't want the pot showing. Just have this little bulby thing showing like that. Then we have the flower pot purple. Make that bigger. I don't know if I've seen that particular flower before. It reminds me of the infused habanero bloom. That's what it kind of looks like to me, but it's just purple and got the green. Again, it's got the grass, same pot thing, no decoration on it. They don't seem to have any kind of movement that I can tell, which I guess is okay. Still very pretty though. Move that aside. Then we have the flower pot blue. And this one's a really pretty flower. Look at that. Now, I don't know. Yeah, there's no collision on them. So again, it's one of those things where you couldn't enlarge them and make them like a roofing for an Oran home or something that you would fall right through it. So some people feel that it's probably a good thing, you know, because it acts just like a plant. You would just kind of crush it. But for those that are looking for nifty ideas or items to use as roofing or something, that wouldn't work that way. So sorry to burst the bubble. Push this aside so I can. And then the last flower pot is the pink version. So you got one that's bloomed and one is still a bud. Some really pretty colors, nice and vibrant. Yeah, boy, I think a lot of Orans will be clamoring over a lot of these because it's just, I don't know, kind of an assumption that Orans would have all this green grass and flowers and stuff. Okay, for the flower groups, we'll start with the strips. You've got the garden flowered strip style 1. Basically, it's just a straight line of grass. And of course, it suffers from the same thing that all of our grass patches suffer from. Looking at it from this direction, it looks very full and lush. But if you go from this direction, it looks empty. So a lot of times to combat that, people will overlay another grass patch to kind of, you know, in the opposite direction to kind of cover that up. Yes, yeah, soccer, those will work really nice for those. But you can see it kind of has some of the flowers, like this one is like the same as this one here, just a little bit more open. And then it has this same flower as this one here, but a different shade. This one's blue, but these are purple or lavender, or however you want to say it. But very pretty. Nice for trimming a yard, or again, you could probably use them to fill, like if you make some little flower trays like this would probably be ideal for that. In fact, we'll just use that as an example of how you might could do it. So you would just kind of line it up and then place it down. And then you have instant flower tray there. Something like that. See how pretty that just kind of livens that up as compared to my empty version. It's a little better. For the other ones, again, you have another strip. This is style 2. It's basically the same, except you know, it's the same idea, but it's just a little bit more full of flowers and a little bit different variety. Instead of the purple pink buds, now they're blue. Then they have the blue, I don't know what you call these daisy looking things, but it looks like they have 2 different shades. It's a dark blue and a paler blue. And then they have both the purple plant and the curlicue one as well. Just a little bit more variety, just something different. But I like how they bring them up in different shades and stuff. So let's see. We'll add that one to this bunch up here. So I'm going to copy that and just to get the size going, and then we'll just slap that in here. See, look at that. Look how that's like magic. It's really helped to liven that up. Okay, and then the last flower strip style is number 3. Again, it's basically the same concept as the other two. It's just different colorings of the flowers. This time you have dark blue and red and purple of the bulby ones. The daisies are white, pink, and blue, and then you have a different coloring of, I don't know, the little skinny plant, and then this one, about the same. Well, I appreciate that, Poi. I'm glad that it helps people. You know, I make these videos, these streams and stuff mostly. It kind of started out mostly for my own entertainment. It still surprises me that folks watch them, and that you guys are willing to come and chat with me while we're doing this. But it's just a passion of mine, and that's what I want to share. You know, when um, you start to do these streams and stuff, one of the first things you're told to decide is what are you going to stream? Make it something that you enjoy, that you love, because you don't want it to feel like you have to do something just to please the masses. I know that WildStar is a niche game, sort of, and I know that focusing just on housing makes it even more of a niche for me, but I like um, this particular content. That's where my focus is. So it would just feel strange for me to show dungeoning or raiding or whatever, because that's just not something I do on a regular basis. I'm very stupid when it comes to the combat system. I mean, I can get by. You know, I die less frequently than the things I'm trying to kill, but I'm not the person to look to if you're looking to get some good tips for a specific class or um, a specific spec or whatever that is. I am the last person you would go for that. And I'm not to say that, you know, I know everything about housing and that I'm the expert and that, you know, what I say is law. Um, but I feel more comfortable with it. For things that I discover on my own or that I hear about or that I see others doing, I'm more comfortable with sharing that with other people than, say, uh, tips for being a good stalker, you know, things like that. So I'm happy that folks enjoy these videos and streams and stuff. And it's a pleasure to hear that it helps in some way, whether it be to inspire ideas or just, you know, you find it amusing that I fall, you know, when I'm trying to jump stuff or, you know, whatever. Okay, so now we have the clumps. There's 4 different clumps. Well, let's do this one first, I guess, because this is it's kind of like a strip, but it's a curved one, and it's only got the little daisy ones. So you can see there's white, blue, pink, purple. Um, This would be good if you've got like a round flower bed, and you like say, for instance, if I had several of these, I would probably use them. Let me just use this as an example here. I would probably use it for something like this. Uh, Whoops. Wow, I'm just like messing that up majorly there. Try that again. For me, if I had several of these, I would just use them as to go around the edge of this particular little potted plant. I have to make it kind of small just because of the curve. It's kind of a It doesn't perfectly match the curve of this, but that's what I would do if I had, and you can see it would take at least 4 altogether, maybe, to make it all the way around. So that means just to do this little bit, I would have to buy 4 of those packs. That's the only thing that I don't like about how they're distributing them. But, um, you know, I could maybe fake it with some of the straight ones and just lay them in, even though they're not curved. But you wouldn't get the same flower arrangement, of course. But that's what I would use it for, something like this, to trim around the edges. Yeah, it's a really nice one, and it's got a lot of flowers, so it really uh, showcases that particular one. They're a little leany, and of course, like I said, the curve doesn't quite match this particular bowl or whatever, so you'd have to play around with the size. But it's a really pretty thing. But if you have, like, just like they might fit here, working in that little bit that I got here. But again, I would need multiples, and since I've only got the one, I'll have to figure out something else for that. But really nice stuff. Okay, the clumps. The clumps, they're kind of got the same idea as the strips. This one is all about the daisy ones in a variety of colors. You can see them, very pretty, nicely spread. There's not really any big noticeable gaps. There's a gap in this one. I don't know if that was just an oversight or purposely done that way. You can see there's an actual little gap right here in the middle. Maybe you could plant your own little flower in addition to all of these little wild flowers. But this one here, this one's a lot more fuller. This is the clump style 3. A little on the square side. So it might work better for a rectangular flower bed or garden, whereas these two are a little bit more rounded. And this one is clump style 4. Notice most of the other clumps, the spreading of the flowers is a little bit more even, sort of. This one's nicely mixed even with the gap. This one has a little bit of a clump of those purple flowers here, but this one's mostly clumpied with the little daisy ones. But you get more of the tall flowers too. So I don't know. You can mix and match them, I'm sure, to whatever needs you have. Okay, for the particle effect, the only thing I notice is if I make it too small, well, I guess I didn't do it the other day, but when I first got it, it seemed like it disappeared at a certain size, but it doesn't seem to be doing that now. But you can make it as big or small as you want. I already have the rainbow sky going on, so I have one out here. But it might be fun for the event this weekend to have a little rainbow somewhere on the property with the little pot of gold at the end, just for my own amusement. Again, I don't know what other uses other than having a cutesy place this might be used for. Maybe, let's see, I'm going to just lay out a floor here. Just for curiosity's sake. Ah, keep copying the wrong thing. Yeah, I figure water elements would be a good place to put it because when you have that spray of water when it's got a lot of mist coming off, that it would make sense that it would have that. But I'm wanting to check and see how it looks, if you have just a bit of it showing. Does the effects show without showing the So it looks like you could hide it and still have some of those particles coming out. So, maybe if you want to have your own kind of weird fireworks display, maybe that might work. I don't know. I'm not very creative this morning as far as thinking about what it could be used for, but maybe you just want the one color streak showing instead of the entire rainbow. So you could choose to have it just red, just blue, or just the particles popping. Might be interesting. I don't know. Let's see. I'm gonna make this flat. And turn this upside down. Waiting to see what it looks like when it comes out. It's like it's more like it's falling down below, doesn't it? It doesn't really show that way. Maybe sideways. No, still, it's like gravity's affecting it, so it only shows. Because you could have some sprinkles, like maybe in a disco. It could probably act as maybe like some sparkly snow effect or something, or just something extra. But yeah, I figure a lot of people use it around water. Um, you could probably get away with using it for a painting, some strange little animated painting. Or maybe if you're making your own like little movie screen, like you want to do Wizard of Oz, when you got the rainbow thing going on. I don't know. Okay, then we have the fence pieces and the fence posts, and those would naturally go with the arches there. The fence posts, I'm going to see a little up close. It's called the white fence post bear. Now, I actually have, let's see, I have one of the white picket fence. Um, well, let me see. I think I used all of the posts that I have, but I'm trying to see just what the difference is. It looks like they're a little bit more straight than the others. Other than that, it looks pretty much the same to me. Let me see if I can pull up the look at it on the shopper. Yeah, see, here's the bear one. It looks like maybe it's just the same and they've changed the name, maybe? That's all I can think of. See, here's the white picket fence post. The fence post picket. There we go. It's not called white. And then where's the bear one? I don't know. To me, it looks the same. Does it not? A little fluted on the end, maybe a little scrunchy. That's maybe the difference. This looks a little scrunchy here, and this one's a little bit more straight. That's about the only difference. And to me, I don't know, that seems kind of weird that they would go through the trouble. Maybe this is a little bit more dilapidated, and this is a little bit more fresh, but that's the only difference I can see between the two. So in my opinion, while this is nice that they added it, I can live with just using this. I mean, obviously I can get a hold of more of these, at no major cost or anything. So yeah, this looks a little squishier, like someone went and crunched it with their fist right here, giant or something. But it's essentially the same thing. So I think even if you don't have multiples of these, you could still use these in place of that and have them work. I think the coloring is pretty close and everything. I know it looks a little blue here and white here, but I think it's just the lighting. So now the ivy covered, the vines, that is considerably different. You can see that as opposed to the blank one, you get some actual ivy stuck on it. Now you could have just taken some of these and draped it on there and made it look like it's on there, but yeah, it's a little narrower down here at the bottom. And like I said, I know it looks a little bit more blue here, but that's just the lighting, the shadow. If I turn it this way, they're more white. You just have to take that into account when you're previewing. They are white, pretty white. It's just like the white picket fence pieces. Let's see, I think I had an extra one of those. You can see that these are pretty crooked in comparison to their counterpart, which is all nice. And these have the little pointy bits. So there is some difference, but the post, in my opinion, isn't that big of a deal as far as the look of it. But this, if you're really wanting a nice white picket fence, this is definitely a lot cleaner looking than this one. This would probably work even better for like those chairs I made. You know, you don't get that kind of like really rustic, crooked bit. It would be nice and straight. But this has a little bit more character, I think. These might be good for portcullises if you don't want metal. If you're looking for something with some spikies on the end. Or something like the tops of castle bits or something. Enlarge them super big. Give them some doors and some windows, and you've got like a whole row of faux houses. That would work pretty fun. Now, if you want a really quick little city, you know, a town or a village or something, you know, you've got your little faux houses. You'd probably have to size them and then maybe double it up just for the thickness. Then you have like a bunch of little faux houses. So there's a good idea for you guys. Make little faux houses out of them. You know, I'm talking about like those cheap housing, you know, estates or whatever, where they got like all these crackerjack homes lined up. That's what I'm thinking of. Those little neighborhoods where every house looks the same, you know, except maybe the door color is different or something. That's what it reminds me of. So you have the short one, which I said in the pack you get two of these because I have an extra one still sitting in my crate. For the medium size, which is basically double the length, you get three in total. And for the white picket fence long, you get two. So again, if you're just going to splurge and get one pack, you might be able to box in depending on the size that you make it and what you're trying to surround it with. You might be able to squeeze out a full, like if I wanted to box this entire thing out, I might be able to do it, but it'll be tricky. Then, of course, the last thing is the tea set. You get in the pack two tea saucers, and you'll see that they aren't perfectly round. There are some chips. The centering is a little odd. You can see how when I'm turning it, it looks like it's moving, but it's just the center is on one end rather than in the middle like it is with the plate. It's got a little bit of a gold trim to it, nice and shiny. And on the back, it's the same. a little flat. Even the edge though is a little worse for wear. I will probably use it for the little table that I've got on the patio over there. I think it'll be a perfect place for a little tea set right here on my weird little table. The cups that go with the saucers, the teacup chipped, it even says it's chipped in the name, does have a little nick missing, a little crack there. Some nice pretty handles if you're willing to splurge and you really just desperately want those particular handles on your cabinet or something. It's a little lopsided, kind of wonky shaped, but someone might find a good use for it. It's got a pretty little design on it, a little curlicue. And the bottom is a little bit gold. So if you're looking for a gold thing, that might work. From this side, it looks like a dress. Now, put your neck there, legs there, arms, and you got a little dress there. Just have to ignore the big handle off the back. Then we have the tea sugar bowl, which again mimics the lopsidedness. It's got a nice big crack in the front. Got a little bit of a gem on top, a red gem, and of course the spoon sticking out. Double handles, but you could only viably use the one since you got that extra little spoon bit hanging there. The bottom again is the gold and white. And then lastly, we have the teapot itself. A lot of people have been begging for the teapot and more teacups because the only teacup we've had up until now is one that you get from a little exploration kind of thing where you visit, I don't want to really spoil it too much, but you visit a special cave in Celestion and you kind of do some certain things to reach it, and you only get the one. It's like a one-of-a-kind thing. Everybody's got the little teacup, or just about everybody, but you can't have multiples of it. But so here we have the teapot itself. It's got a interesting image of a flower-covered oran in strategically placed areas. Looks pretty happy. Blue-haired, purple-furred oran. A really nice-looking handle. Again, it's the same gem as the sugar pot, but a little different angle, I guess. Really cute little item. I think a lot of people are going to really like this part here. I would not doubt that they use that in some funny way. The bottom, of course, is the gold. Make a good sun or top of a table or whatever. But again, like I said, because of the nature of how we're able to get these items, I doubt a lot of people will use them in those ways. I think more will just use them as they are because they're too adorable to hide most of it for that kind of a thing. So there you are. That is the new spring stuff. And again, just a reminder, it's 230 in coin for one pack of 30 items. You'll get everything you see here, plus a few duplicates of some of the fences, and I think that's about it. Fences is mostly, and a couple of the rainbows together. 230 in coin or 115 omnibits. So if you've been busily hoarding your omnibits and not spending them on other things, this is a good opportunity to grab a nice deal. Even though you get a lot of them as just one-of-a-kind kind of bits, You know, who can pass that up? That's just, they're too cute, too cute. But you know, if you're like me and you have a lot of characters that have plots that could be used on, and you think maybe down the road I might want to use it on, then it becomes the dilemma of, well, I only want to buy one pack. Where do I put it? And of course, it was kind of a no-brainer for me. This is my Easter spring house, so it naturally had to be used here. So, so yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and start moving some of these around into some of the new locations. Obviously not going to leave that plate supersized, but sometimes it's easier to move things around when they're bigger, easier to see. Mhm. I don't really know how the size of these, what they should be. Guess I'll just set them at their standard size that they come in and see how that looks. Yeah, that's kind of the dilemma, even with decor that you can get it hold of fairly easily. Um, like something that you might craft or something that drops in a dungeon. You know, yeah, you can get a hold of it again and give it to another character, but it's one of those things where you still have to decide, okay, because there's a lot of things I've sent to my main character, and I wish I had not. I wish I could move it to a different one. I think something a lot of people would like is to have like maybe a way to remove things from the crate. Even if it was probably at a small cost of in-game money, I think people would be willing to do that just to have the luxury of being able to move things a little bit more freely between their characters. It's like I should mention too. There's a current discussion on the forums. It's not necessarily specifically about housing, but it could affect it. Um, Pappy apparently has started a new initiative called oh, what's it called? Oh, the Dev Connect. They're planning on making, you know, some of these topics, you know, every few weeks or so. And it's meant to open up a specific, you know, line of discussion over features or aspects of the game that they're considering changing or improving, and they want some actual feedback from the community. And while the community has actually opened this discussion themselves in the past and continue to discuss it, it's nice to see that the devs are taking a little bit more one-on-one sort of kind of approach to it. And it's a way for them to kind of consolidate all of the discussion, because you know how it is. There's people that will start a topic. It doesn't matter if there's 15 others right before them that have the same topic of discussion going on. They feel like they've got to start their own topic to say, well, this is what I think, rather than putting it in the thread before them. They have to make their own. And this is the devs' way of consolidating that information, that feedback, so that they can, you know, maybe directly address some of the concerns or some of the ideas and say, hey, this is maybe something we could talk about a little bit more in depth internally, or this really isn't the direction we want to go, and that kind of thing. And it really becomes a little bit more of a team kind of thing. And the current topic is faction barrier, as to if people want them to stay in the game or would prefer to have them drop. And it's not that, the way I understand it, they're not talking about there will be no more exiles and there would be no more dominion. I think what they're talking about more is about certain aspects of the game, like grouping. Can you group with dominion characters to tackle a group quest out in the open world, or a world boss, or also instance kind of things like raiding and dungeoning and stuff like that. But a lot of people have brought up some interesting points like how it would affect language. Right now, we have to use an add-on to be able to understand each other if we're just talking out in the world. Otherwise, it just comes out like gobbledygook or some weird emote or something like they're trying to say something but you don't understand. But they've also mentioned a lot of people have talked about how cross-faction housing, would that be an improvement? Would people be open to that? How would it work? Because there are those that don't want to mix with the other faction. And I agree with the idea that they should have a way of either denoting, I mean, we already have ways of saying we only want roommates to visit or neighbors to be able to visit or anybody to visit. What would be great is if we could also have like guild only, for guild events rather than forcing a guild member to have to neighbor you for private events, then you could just set it for guild. But also you could maybe do it for faction. Yes, I'm open to cross faction visitors, or no, this is a off limits, thing. Also, people have been reminding the devs that we've been wanting for some time ways to be able to kick people off of our plot. Um, for not only just for the idea of, well, I don't want a Chua on my plot. He might blow something up. Uh, there's a lot of just role play scenes where they have people that come in that disrupt and make it an overall bad experience for the others. And I think it's fair that we should have a way of controlling who can visit, who can't, and have more control over that. And so it's been interesting, even though, like I said, it's not specifically a housing topic, it does affect it, or it could possibly affect it. So if you have um, a viewpoint about that or want to throw in some of your own thoughts on the discussion, be sure and drop by the general discussion forum, subforum in the official forums. It's a sticky topic. It's right up at the top. Um, and it's called the Dev Connect, and it's like I said, the particular discussion currently is about faction barrier. Um, what parts you want, what parts you don't want. I think the biggest arguments about taking the barrier away that I've read so far from others is those that are uh, steeped in the lore. They feel like that will be not belittled, but lessened or completely messed up if the faction barriers were dropped. And there are just some that don't want to mix with the other races. So I think it's just my personal opinion is I think there's more benefit to dropping them than, uh, yeah, just in general, there's more benefit to dropping them in my view. It would help with queue times, guilds that are trying to regularly get those raid teams sorted, because there's just things that come up that make it more difficult. And if you have a bigger pool of people to draw from, the opportunities are improved. I haven't come across the problem with disruptive visitors. In fact, as you guys have seen, my plots are public, but there's, I don't think we've ever had a visitor, maybe once during a stream. And a lot of it might be just the hour. There's most people are at work right now or at school or what have you. But generally speaking, most of the time I don't see anybody. And it's usually just I think it's more those plots that are RP oriented, like the bars, the dance clubs, maybe some of the guild halls and stuff would have not more opportunity, but more risk that there might be troublemakers that drop in, especially if it's a well-known RP gathering spot and there's just somebody that wants to troll the people. If they're posting publicly, hey, we're meeting up at this hour on this day, then the trolls have, a bigger opportunity to go, hey, I'm going to drop by at that time at that day too and just see what kind of havoc I can cause. I think my only experience with it directly was we had an open house event for my guild some time back. Just kind of our way of introducing ourselves to the community. And we did have some trouble during that event, which kind of upset those that had organized the event, and they just didn't have a way of controlling things to make it more enjoyable for those that were there for the right reasons. And so yeah, I can completely understand why people would want something like that added, that ability to control who stays, who doesn't. I would imagine something like even if you allow cross-faction housing to allow people, that maybe I think right now you can set a person as a rival. So like if you see them out in the open world, then you can like fight them and stuff. I would imagine you could do that too. Maybe just not have your rivals be able to intrude. Um, I would assume those that are on your ignore list would fall under that category too, that those would be automatically locked out, even if you opened it to cross-faction or, whatever. And of course, ignore would cover even, fellow faction people that, maybe you just don't want them on your plot. Maybe you have a group of Orin and there's one that's always a troublemaker and everybody doesn't like him, and they, say it's a no homer club, kind of thing. So there's that. Okay, so let's see, I think I still have the teapot itself. But yeah, it's an interesting topic. There's a lot of points, but I think from just me reading through it, and I read every single reply there. It took a while to get through it, but I read it. The majority are in favor in some shape or form. I really liked Esper's take on how to do it in kind of stages. I think that was a great approach to it, and I think it was the most sensible and fair way of going about it as well, to just kind of do it in steps to see how it goes, not to just do it all at once and freak everybody out. Let's see, I'm going to rearrange this a little bit. I want the teapot in the front, in the middle, and gotta have that picture showing as well. The cute little Orin. There we go. That's a really big teapot. I think I want a little smaller. And this one a little smaller. There we go. But yeah, it's a big opportunity. I think they said, let me check. If you feel like contributing to the discussion, this particular thread will be open until March 30th. So you have a little bit of time if you want to kind of collect your thoughts. My recommendation, and that it's true for any time you make a really big kind of meaningful post, sometimes I do it even for just quick replies, is open a Word document on your computer, write it out, check your spelling, editing, and all that before you go and post it. But save it, because half the time I will be reading a bunch of stuff and then I'll go to reply and then I get logged out and then it goes error and it's like, oh my gosh, I lost everything I wrote. So, if you're going to respond, take the time to kind of prepare yourself, and but check the spelling and stuff, because sometimes a great argument for something kind of loses its impact if you have a lot of spelling errors or whatever. And I know folks use the excuse that, well, English isn't my native tongue, but just do your best to try and get as clean and understandable as possible. Use punctuation. I notice a lot of people, it's like one big long sentence. They forget the periods and capital letters and stuff. It just makes it harder to read. So even if you have valid points, it gets lost in that, jumble of mess. Yeah, see, you could do that. And I've seen people actually use some of the jugs, like the lop jug that we have, and the Draken pots and stuff. They'll arrange them because you see those in people's gardens even now. They have those turned over pots and like the water's coming out. In fact, I think we toured a place, it was last week or something, that had something like that. Um, it might have been yesterday even. The one plot with all the little pretty gardeny stuff. But I know I've seen it somewhere in a few places, and it's a really fun idea. Um, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of nifty ideas you could use, people using just the gems and stuff. But like I said, because you only get the one, being able to use multiples of it for something else just seems a little on the expensive side. Okay, for now, I think we'll put our pot of gold. Let's see, I'm going to take a quick run, see if I have any little nook or cranny that I think right here would be good in this corner for the little pot of gold. On a bright note, I'm feeling a little bit better. I was feeling pretty miserable this morning. In fact, I wasn't sure I was even going to get online today because I was just feeling so nauseated. But and yesterday was really rough. Um, but seem to be doing a little bit better now. Probably just need to get some food because most of the food I had yesterday I've vacated in one way or another. And so I'm feeling kind of hungry and I just feel, you know, exhausted really. But I hate the idea of maybe taking a nap or something. My husband says, just take a nap. But usually I end up, if I do that, I end up feeling worse. I don't know why. I think it's just because I sleep heavier when I take a nap in the middle of the day. It's not that I haven't done that, but it's just, I don't know. I have this worry that I don't want to wake up feeling worse than I did when I went to sleep. So I'm going to just kind of tuck this in a little bit here. Can't actually get into this. I don't. Well, yeah, you can. Guess the barrier's not close enough. Just gonna tuck it right in here. This is kind of what I'm gonna have to do with the eggs. I'll be having fun hiding the eggs soon. And then to kind of clue them in, I guess I'll put that rainbow over here. Pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Where'd that rainbow go? There it is. Kind of hard to see at a distance. Yes, I could probably just crate them and then pull them back out, but I don't know. Sometimes I just like doing things the hard way. Yeah, I don't think anybody enjoys being sick, but I told my husband yesterday that I think sometimes it's I start feeling a little ill and then I end up making myself feel worse because I start worrying about feeling ill. Because a few years back, or it may not even be that long, but it feels that long. I had like a whole year of uh, really bad troubles, and it ended up being it was to do with my gallbladder. I ended up having to have surgery on that, but it was like I went to the doctor and she suggested it was probably my gallbladder. Went to have it checked. They said nope, there's nothing there. So then I went through an entire year of them saying, well, maybe it's this, let's try this, let's test that, or whatever. And I went through an entire year of just misery. And it got to the point where I was having like, not quite anxiety attacks, but I was making it worse because my blood pressure would drop and I would get all fainty and everything. And just go into a worry of because I spent a lot of time in the emergency room and stuff. And so now, even though that bit has passed, I had it removed and everything's been fine since. Every time I have a little bout that kind of reminds me of that, I think I go, oh no, I don't want to have that year-long experience again. So it's just kind of, I think it's more me just freaking out because I'm a worry wart anyway. Um, Typically. I think it's weird because I'm a worrywart for most things, but like when it came to the issues with WildStar and stuff, I was like, I'm not going to lay that on myself because it's just not good for me. 'Cause, I worry about other things already. I don't need this added thing. So I tried to stay positive about it, and I think it's paying off because clearly there's some changes coming, but uh, it's just I think when I get a little bit sick now, I think I make it worse because I remember how it was that year and it's just bad. Let's see. I could change it out and make this one my little mailbox, but it doesn't really have any little holes that I could use. So maybe I'll put him up top. Would that look weird? I think that would look weird. I don't know where he should go. Maybe he's like the little, whoops, little garden gnome. I'll just use him as a little gnome. Maybe I'll find something red and put a little red beard, not red, white, a little white beard on him. Let's see. Wow, I just like totally made him vanish. I meant to pick one. He was zero size. Because you've been to those houses before or know people with houses like it that they got like all these little statues and wagons and vases and little goofy gnomes and things in their yard. I'll put some little decoration around him, I think. Maybe he will have the one where the flowers have that gap in the middle. That's what I'll do. See, there's a reason why there's a gap. Dang it, I keep hitting the wrong button. There's a little, that's my garden gnome right there. Oh, well, that's kind of an idea. I'll definitely be having fun with hiding the eggs around here. I keep seeing little places. Ooh, that'll make a good hiding spot, but I don't want to say anything because then I'm giving it away. Let's see, the flower pots. Where do we put those? I guess they go on the porch. That would make sense, I guess. Just plop them down there real quick. Yeah, this is looking more and more like my aunt's house. Or my mother-in-law's. Both of them are like avid gardener type things. Got every plant, I mean, every surface in their house, shelves and tables and desks and everything is like loaded with plants. And I have my share of plants, but I'm the worst when it comes to taking care of them. Come on, hit the right arrow button thingy. Gonna just kind of change up their sizes a bit. I don't want them all being the same. And I don't want to be where it's 2 on one side, 2 on the other. I'm going to put 3 on one side and 1 on the other and leave it like that. I think that'll be better. Lots of pretty little flowers. Well, my mother, my mom, she worked gardens, vegetable gardens and stuff at some time, but if I tried to do that, there would probably be never anything edible. Either I would wait too long. Well, it's like my husband tried doing, I guess it's like not, well, we have some blueberries, but there's also, I think, a strawberry patch in the backyard. And he'd wait and wait and end up, all the birds would get them. And later he put like netting and stuff over it, but then he'd forget to water and everything. It's the same thing. But we have a cherry tree, um, and the birds are like they're attuned to those things. As soon as they're ready to eat, those birds just clear them out, so you never have a chance to get them. We even have I think it's an apricot tree. We got a pear tree as well, but I don't like them. They're the kind that's like really hard. I think they're mostly for canning. I think it's the type that you would have to cook and can and everything. And but they're like it's just nasty and I I don't know. I like fruits and stuff, but I guess I'm particular about which ones. But it's like he comes in with the strawberries and stuff from the garden and he goes, look, we got some, and they're a little on the small side. Plus, I know that we have cats and other critters that kind of roam freely, and there's birds that like to poo everywhere, and I don't want my food. I don't want to think about. I know that uh, the stuff you get from the store comes into contact with the same stuff, but at least I don't see what's going on. It's like if I had to watch a cow go from like the farm through the butcher house to the end up product, I probably would never eat burgers anymore. Um, uh, it's like my mom. She worked at a chip packing plant for a few years, and she said for like 5 or so years after that, she couldn't eat chips because she had seen the process they go through and everything that kind of doesn't get sorted, and it's the same way with the growing of the stuff. I don't know. Kind of weird. I prefer it just to come already boxed and I don't see it and everything and everything like that. Yeah, I know that point, but I don't know. It's just kind of gross when you see like a big, pile of bird stuff on it and you're having to go ew. And at least the grocery store stuff, even though I wash that as well, it already looks pretty nice. Doesn't have things packed on it. Oh, well, that's a pretty good therapy then, soccer, if that's what helps you get outside. I don't have a phobia per se. I'm just not one with nature. Nature doesn't like me, so I tend to sneeze and cough a lot. If I go out into work into the garden for like a half hour or something, by that time my arms and stuff are just literally feel like they're on fire. I have skin issues and stuff, and so I just say that nature doesn't like me. And I know it's surprising to say that and then have plants in the house, but it's not like I go around digging around in them either. I just kind of have that water can that's like got a mile long spout, and from a distance, I'm watering them. But uh, yeah, I'm just not an outside person. I've never been one with nature at all. It's like we're mortal enemies because I tend to get sick from a lot of that stuff. Okay, my plan had been when these got released that I would try and cover up these little mountain thingies or hills with them, but because we're limited on how many we get in the pack, that idea just went out the door. So I will have to figure out something else to use. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what I'll do with them. I thought about maybe putting some of the patches on the actual roof and just kind of covering it with some flowers, but I think that might look a little weird. But I'll think of something to do with the white picket fences and the arbor. Maybe we'll make a little garden place um, a little bit nicer, a different kind of garden um, somewhere out back, or I don't know what we'll do. I'll think of something because I definitely don't want to just crate these things. They're too pretty to crate. So I'm going to have to find a use for them. Same way with the ivy. These I for sure will probably put around the house in some way. But I think we're going to call it a day for now. While I am feeling better, I am pretty pretty tired. So again, appreciate you guys joining me. I very much appreciate all of the tweets, the retweets, the follows, um, and the votes, if you're still doing that. Um, Not a must, so I appreciate those that go through the motions of doing that kind of stuff. Tomorrow, as long as things continue on a good path, I will probably be here. Um, Maybe I will have come up with some kind of idea to use these last little springy bits, and we'll finish that up. But after that, I will probably be shutting this down to go private for the rest of the day tomorrow to give me time to hide all the eggs. Remember, if you're interested in just trying your own luck and finding the eggs, it will be opened back up Saturday morning, and you will be welcome to come and visit and have a look around just for your own entertainment, if nothing else. Um, uh, and then next week we'll see about starting a new project. I don't know if I'm going to do it holiday related. There's really not a big major holiday coming up that I can think of, but I'll think of something. Either it'll be a painting thing or just a small little project kind of deal that we'll try out. But as usual, I will work to keep things going, different little builds and ideas and stuff. And of course, next week we do have the Dominion's turn. I currently have a few on the list, but many of them are still major works in progress. So I'm going to have to go through and see if I can find out if they've made enough progress that they're tourable. Plus, with the merger with, for us, it would be Lumini. I'm hoping that will mean a new group of houses to check out. So I'm going to be visiting around over the weekend. So while you guys are checking out the eggs, I'll be checking out the homes. And it's either Saturday or Sunday. I haven't decided yet. It probably depends on how I feel. I will be posting the announcement thread about the 50th episode celebration. Say episode, it's 50th house tours episode specifically, because I've actually done well over probably 400 videos altogether, but not all of them are tours. So it's just the 50th house tours episode that we will be celebrating. I'm going to be posting that this weekend sometime. I don't know when. But be sure and check for that, and you'll have the opportunity to either leave comments there in the thread, or you'll be able to tweet me or Twitch me or whatever other way that you can get a hold of me. But I'm really looking forward to it. I hope folks will engage. It'll be kind of an opportunity to kind of maybe get some more people aware that we're doing these tours and these regular streams. Sometimes I'll talk to people and they're like, "What? You do housing stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time now." But it's just, I'm not one of those that really goes completely out of my way to advertise. So it's really by word of mouth and everything that I've been kind of relying on. People just kind of stumble across it in different ways. Some have happened across a video on YouTube, and that's how they get to the Twitch channel. Others have heard it through other people that knew about it and said, "Hey, have you seen this?" So if you're one of those that kind of spreads the word, I appreciate that. It's not that I'm aiming for like a big following, but I feel like the more people that we get interested in housing, the better for the community overall, because there's just so many applications for it. And as we go further into this adventure in WildStar, as people, suggest additional things like guild housing or the neighborhood system that we've talked about several times, being able to institute some kind of line of sight so that actual player-made arenas will be, functional as intended, or, there's been suggestions that we have some way of creating our own like little instanced content, our own little housing expeditions that we build ourselves that other people can play, and yada, yada, yada. There's lots of things that housing can bring to the game that the foundation's already there. We just need the tools, and the more people that get involved and ask for those tools, maybe the better chance we have at actually getting those tools. Same way with, the core that you're wanting. A lot of people have been asking for more dash housing and Macari housing and more items that are to that race. The more people that ask for it, the more likely we'll eventually get those. I know it's probably more work involved because it's, anytime you add a new kind of race set kind of stuff, that's a lot of man hours that goes into creating that whole little kit or whatever you call it. But if it's something that the majority are looking for, then they will be more willing to invest that time and effort into making it. So yeah, it's like I said, it's not that I'm looking for a big following, but I just want to help promote what I feel is a really good selling point for WildStar as far as the versatility of the housing and in the ways that you can use it, setting up for role-playing events, guild events, community events, just all sorts of uses. Personal entertainment, which is my big thing. But yeah, so the more people that we can get in touch with this little thing that's going on, the better, I think. So yeah, thanks guys for joining me. I hope you have a great day. If I don't see you before, I hope you have an awesome weekend as well. Like I said, I will probably be here tomorrow, but I know not everybody can join every day, so just wanted to throw that out. Um, and yeah, don't forget the Z-Pre event going on, so be sure and get involved in that if you want to grab some of those particle effects, the burning track and the lightning strike. Both of those are available again, so this is your opportunity to get a hold of some extras or get some if you didn't get a chance to get some last time. Um, and I expect, more bigger, better things. So be on the watch for any other upcoming events. Um, if you're really interested in a lot of housing stuff, obviously if you're here watching, you probably are. But I try to keep on track with any kind of announcements and things that has to do with housing. So if nothing else, even if you don't follow me on Twitch, you're welcome to follow me on Twitter because that's most of what my Twitter feed is about. It's all just housing stuff. Occasionally I answer questions for other things, but it's generally I'm either retweeting some other one's announcement about housing stuff, WildStar stuff, other player-made content, or just my own junk. So definitely welcome to check that out. Yes, that's true. That's true, Soccer. They are not bind on pickup. We're talking about the particle effects, the lightning strike, and the burning track. They used to be, and they switched that. I don't know if it was with the last patch or the patch before. Um, of course, unfortunately, a lot of us had already learned them because we just assumed they were going to remain soulbound, and it was kind of silly not to use them. But yeah, now they are bind on pickup, so that means even if you don't plan on using them, you can sell them or give them to, trade them to other people, other guildies, friends, whatever, and you can do them all on one character and pass them around to your alts or something in case your alts are not high enough to participate or whatever. So yeah, it's a good thing. Um, and of course, don't forget the spring pack, 250 in coin, no, 230 in coin, or 115 omnibits. Um, Decent deal for 30 decor pieces. Most of that we showed here, so yeah, good deal, good deal. So thanks again for joining, and I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.